All right, well, here I am in the Sunday morning prep time, and I am about 4 weeks away from the STARS assessment that's happening with the ones going to kindergarten, and I've really been trying to hone in how to get them to practice, how we can stop doing this choose your work, choose your work, choose your work nonsense. And so on Thursday, I created these cards. Initially, I created a work plan, but then I was told by my mentor teacher that she did not want them to carry the work plan with them on a clipboard. So I'm trying to find another way because the clipboard in their mind helps them to take it seriously. It's really cool to carry a clipboard. You have important things to do. And so finally, out of desperation, what I did is I took pictures of everything I have in math and in vocabulary. And I'll show you the cards when I go to work. And then what they have to do when they walk into the room is they just choose a card. If you're not hungry for breakfast, you may go ahead and get to work. We're not going to ask you what you'd like to do this morning. This is what we're doing this morning. And that way, you have a little bit of mystery to it because they have to pull it out of a bucket. And then you get to have that work. You do one language, you do one math. Incorporated in either one of those is some sort of handwriting. And then from there, for the rest of the day, you can choose something different. You can choose art, you can choose science, but these are the two things that you are expected to do every single day. And it worked quite well. And the bonus of it is because there's a picture of it and it's on their work rug or on their table. When I take pictures for documentation, I can then go back and then put it into our system where we track what children have been doing, which reminds me I need to do that for the last couple days. Because we have a system where after every couple weeks it just kicks you out of the system and then you have to do another password. It's a very tedious thing, especially when you're in the middle of nap time and you have to go and get your phone and you have to do the authenticator and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, but that's a good reminder that I have to do it. Otherwise, it looks like I didn't give any lessons for 3 days. And so starting with that, and then I don't know if I mentioned, I started doing something called the Artist Way, Artist Pages. I'll tell you about that in another video. I came up with this idea yesterday. What if I make a calendar of it? So a child would have their name on the top, and then this is your calendar for the month. And then I thought, well, we could make it even more fun, and we could make it a bingo card. And at every time you finish up your work for the day, you can stamp with a dot marker. And when you're done with, so there's 20 squares. I'll show you with it. I've got a rough sense of it. It looks awful, but this is what it's going to look like. And then there's 20 items, which basically comes out to 2 weeks worth of work. Is that right? Yeah, if you do 2 a day. Yeah, 2 weeks worth of work. Once you're done with that, you can take it home and show mom and dad or family caregivers what you've been working on for 2 weeks. It's very tangible for them and a sense of accomplishment as well. And it also ensures a lot of variety, because that's the other thing. I don't want them to keep picking the same card. The only way I can make sure that doesn't happen is if they've dot marked it, and we keep those bingo cards with us, if they pull a card, you can look and see immediately they've already done that, so they need to pick another card. Now, all the prep time to make that very easy, is very tedious. So here it looks like right now. What I've done is I have a lot of activities for each of the language works. And what I need to do is I need to just put one of the activities out, and then every 2 weeks I rotate it. And I might want out there and just say the ones with the red dots are the ones for the kinderbound, and the ones with the blue dots children who are in the classroom who are interested in doing something, or if somebody wants to pull them for a small group, they're invited to use those. But the red dots are the ones for the children that are working for the next 2 weeks. And then I rotated. Okay, now you can use the red dots. We're going to use the blue dots. So again, you hear how intricate it has to be in the very beginning. The creation of it has to be really set up correctly, so I'm not doing this next year. So that's what I have to keep telling myself. You will not have to do this next year, your next school year, meaning, because you've thought it through this school year. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now, is I'm preparing this. And again, because so many Sundays are like this, it's not like I rush to it. I'm glad I have this idea. I think it's going to be like just building the momentum of like, this is a really good idea. When they get to the STARS assessment, I will feel confident that they've at least had a touch point with all major letters, like the Y and the Z. I'm not going to really worry about the X. So I think it's the X, the Y, the Z that I'm not going to introduce to them, but everything else is going to be introduced to them. Rhyming will be introduced to them. Ending sounds will be introduced to them. So I just, I feel like I'm doing the best with what I have. And going into next year, I can just hone this a little bit more, because it definitely has been like this hit or miss situation. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get to this, and I'll show you the final results. Real quick, I'll talk about The Artist's Way. So The Artist's Way is a book by Julia Cameron. A lot of people who are artists or even non-artists, but are just kind of stuck in life and blocked, they pick up her book as a way to kind of like get your creative juices flowing. And the two things that she talks about are artist pages and artist dates. So basically once a week, you're doing something, some sort of creative thing, or something that you haven't done before. So I've been doing that, been really good at that. Today we're going to Gamage to see the Notebook. Very excited about that. Also adding in, got my hair done, so that was very nice, and I'm really loving it right now. And I even did a makeover, which this is the new foundation. I like it. It goes into the crevices a little too much, so I think I'm going to try something different. But definitely the color, they've got it spot on. So, but anyway, with the artist pages, what you do is you free write 3 pages every day, no matter what. You're just writing them. So you get up in the morning, you write stuff down. You just realize there's a bunch of junk that's sitting in there in your brain that's just wearing you down. And so even when you're trying to come up with a new idea or a new game plan or a way to do something better, I am really good at pushing through and finding it, but man, it just feels like such drudgery lately. So it's been really cool to kind of get back into the swing of that. And yeah, I honestly will attest to, that's how I came up with the bingo card, is because I knew I wanted to gamify it somehow. And then, of course, everybody's the trendy thing to say is it wasn't on your bingo card. So I was like, kids may or may not have heard that. But again, it's just a fun way for them to like think of it more of a game rather than, okay, and now you do DWEN, and now you do BFOD. Okay, now pick up the addition reports, just trying to, make it a little bit more fun for them. So I'll give you some feedback on what they think about it. All right, real quick, I wanted to share my newest book, which is called Convenience Store Woman. It's the story of a woman who is just living a typical life as a convenience store clerk. And it's a reminder to like not just find your value in the work that you were doing, but that there's more to life than the work that you go to. And I have to say that to myself on a very regular basis. So here it is. It's a charming and unforgettable story of Tokyo sales clerk Kiko Furakura. Kiko is an unusual person, someone who has never fit in, but when she takes a job at a Smile Mart, she finally finds peace and perfect purpose in her daily tasks. But there is huge pressure on Keiko to pursue a career, to find a husband, and she feels forced to take desperate action in order to please the people around her instead of herself. Is there room in this normal world for someone as strange as Kiko? So, really cute book. It's only about 172 pages, so a really nice quick read. Have I been reading? No, I mean, I've been doing pretty well, but not as well as I used to. I was like getting up and being very regimented about it. That's kind of been replaced by the artist pages, which I think at this point is something I really need to do. But I also need to figure out a way to build back in reading, because what I have found is trying to read at lunch. I don't want to be inside the building, but it's too hot to sit in my car. So that's the plight of living in Arizona for sure. Okay, it's better. I was getting so close to like running out of space on my phone, and it's so funny because I did like buy a camera that I was going to start setting up on a tripod and start doing it, but I just feel like it's impractical. Like the easiest way to do it is just to pull out your phone and document it in real time. I can definitely say, last week I hadn't really said much about last week, but I got to really feel like what it is like for the new assistant that I'll be getting on Monday, and for my other assistant. Both of them are, wonderful women. Even the assistant that I had, where things weren't just working out. It was mostly just not working out because of just the design of a Montessori classroom, the newness of the person in teaching, and just this reality of like it's really, really hard work. It's not something I would normally have picked. I mean, I would not have normally have been in a traditional Montessori classroom, but this is where I find myself. So, and I've shared that on other videos, how that came to be. But anyway, at the end of the day, what I found again was that the 2 days with someone who knows how to just kind of read the rhythm of the room, make changes, pivot, things like that, without necessarily needing to have hand holding, because the children can feel that too. I had that for 2 days. And then the following 2 days, it was the opposite, because I had the same situation I've been in for months. And it was so chaotic that on Wednesday, I had such a headache, and I just wanted to go home. I was like, this is what I've been living in for months and months and months. That's when I came in Thursday morning. I mean, I literally was like teetering on like not going in, but I knew I'd taken Friday off. Requested it. So just to take a shower, I basically just put my hair up in a bun, didn't even put makeup on, and I just went in there and I made those laminated cards I mentioned on the previous segment. And I just, as they walked in the room, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. Because I just cannot. And there was still some chaos. For other reasons as well. But I was like, yeah, I couldn't do it another day, So I had Friday off, did my hair, didn't go to a movie, watched The Testaments, which is like a spin-off, or spin-off from The Handmaid's Tale. It's really good. Shout out to another teacher in the building who asked me if I was watching it, and I said to her, I've just been living under a rock. I just do work. I don't even know anything about it. But I watched it. It was really good, and set up an appointment for the makeover, and was gonna set up doctor's appointments, and I'm supposed to do a mammogram. I was just like, I just need to not. I just need to like. Because I really do find it very therapeutic to like braid my hair and dread my hair and stuff. So I just like literally just, as you can see, it's more detailed. It's got more in it. And I don't know, lovingly just took care of my head and myself. And it was quite a metaphor. And like I said, going in with just a different attitude on, how I've wanted so much to have the dysregulated children be a part of the classroom, and they have been, but I think we're at this point now where it's like, I'm not going to fight whatever it is someone else's opinion is for what they need. Have at it. Have at it. I am going to focus on these other children who have been disserviced by the way in which things have been handled. I'm not even at this point of saying like it's anybody's fault, because, people are doing what they do when they're not really being watched. And, that's just not that the teachers aren't being watched, because we are being watched and monitored and observed all the time. And like I said, I think I'm just at the end of my rope on it for sure. So anyway, all right, on to the work of the day. Wish me luck. All right, so we have begun our flower arranging work in our classroom, and we are doing it in a very modified way because we have children that still have are still learning how to be safe in the classroom. And so we have minimized the steps, and we've tried to stay with the integrity of it, where you set it up, you create your flower arrangement, you clean it up, and then we move on to the next person. So modified version of it. I should have taken a picture of it yesterday. But we have just the stool here for when the teacher is giving the lesson, but when it's just the child will be standing. We have a container for the stems and any dead leaves. What will happen is when they are doing the detailed portion of it, they will put, I have to put something else out here. This actually is for the water, for when they're setting the flowers in, so they can have a few seconds of like absorbing it into the stem before you put it into the glassware. Of course, the doilies are here, the apron for the child, the funnel, and learning how to pay attention to the water, not only inside the vase, but inside the funnel. Our sponges for cleaning, of course, the placemat to just have a workspace on the table. But yeah, the children really enjoyed it. We've been doing it for we've been doing it in groups of 5, so they see the lesson, and then my assistant is actually the one who is handling this because she's in a training program, so this is a great practice for her. And she takes them one at a time and just watches for safety and all of those things. So yesterday was just a really good day in that you got to see another side to the children where they could slow down, pay attention. So that was a nice little boost. So this is just one of the ones that we did as the example. We allowed them to take theirs home yesterday because, again, it's like, of course, you'd want to take the vase, but we're going to let you take your flowers. And yeah, all in all, it was a really beautiful experience for them.